Well, India is now one step away from the historic soft landing on the moon. The Vikram lander that will attempt the historic moon landing on September 7th is now parked in its final orbit, waiting for that final approach. Today at 3:42 a.m., its rocket engines were then fired for 9 seconds, and it's now orbiting the moon in a 35 kilometers by 101 kilometer orbit. The orbiter and lander are healthy, says ISRO. And remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to be in the Mission Control Center to witness this historic touchdown of the Vikram lander in the south pole of the moon. India will be the only fourth country after the US, Russia and China to achieve this feat if it succeeds. NDTV's science editor Pallav Bagla has this report.
The Chandryan 2 began its journey atop the geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle Mark III, or the Bahubali rocket, on July 22nd from Sriharikota. Having spent few weeks in the Earth orbit, it was then taken into the Moon's embrace on August 20th after the tricky lunar capture operation. The spacecraft spent several days in the Moon's orbit, where it stabilizes into a circular orbit passing over the poles. On specific instructions by ISRO, the Vikram lander and the orbiter separate. The orbiter continues its life studying the Moon and keeping in touch with the Vikram lander. Soon, the Vikram lander, with the Pragyan rover in its belly, is lowered into a 100 km by 30 km orbit. Together, the orbiter and the lander carefully scan the landing spot. The lander starts its powered descent onto the lunar surface. The next 15 minutes are the most terrifying moments for the space scientist. Through programmed rough braking and fine braking maneuvers, the lander comes within touching distance of the moon surface. The best landing spot is zeroed in. The lander sets foot near the south pole of the moon. Once the lunar dust settles down, a few hours later, the ramp opens, displaying India's flag on the moon surface. Later, in a gentle operation, the Pragyan rover is rolled out onto the lunar surface. The Pragyan rover begins its slow moonwalk. Etched on the rear wheels of the rover are the Ashok Chakra and the ISRO logo. India leaves an indelible and permanent imprint on the moon surface. Using an animation made and supplied by ISRO, Pallav Bagla for NDTV.